Dr. Muhammad, I want to talk about the field of education. Uh, I want to know from your experience in this field in the United States and Canada, how can we modernize and develop our educational system here in Egypt?
Uh, the education system, in my opinion, in Egypt is unfortunately collapsing. And it is designed to produce people who can do routine work, solve problems, mathematical problems, recall from memory, and just repeat from memory. And this is basically the emphasis. And also the biggest problem we have in an education system today is the private lessons that's going on right now. This is becoming a parallel system to the education system. And with these two systems, you can never teach a student, never teach a student creativity or critical thinking. Because this modality that exists right now wouldn't allow that. And without creativity, without critical thinking, we are not going to be producing people who can be innovative. So innovation will never be existing in a system like that. So it has to change drastically. Unfortunately, we waited for so long. The private lessons or private courses, دروس الخاصة, started probably when? In the 60s? That's a time where it should have been solved, and now becomes too big of a problem that it seems that it's very difficult to take any action right now unless the action is drastic to solve it. So I think the education system has to be changed. Curriculum has to be changed. We have to clear the curriculum from material that clog the curriculum, and it doesn't really have
obsolete.
Obsolete and doesn't have really meaningful advantage. And we have to put a new material in the curriculum. We have to give the student freedom to be able to have creative thinking, have innovative thinking and stuff like that.
Dr. Muhammad, I want to know from you more about the research modality, the field that you are an expert in, and how can we apply this here in Egypt and benefit from it?
Yeah, when you look at research in places like United States, for example, you find that there are 4 types of research. One call it abstract, basic research, applied research, and development in the end, which is part of research also. Now, the basic and the abstract research is highly theoretical, long-term, and may or may not produce any benefit to the society. But when it produces benefit, it produces enormous benefit. And those are very expensive type of research, like satellite research, GPS, all these were some kind of a basic research. Internet was a basic research. So this kind of a thing, when it succeeds, you see it has enormous economic impact. Now, is that model suitable for places like Egypt, Middle East, or Third World? No, it's not. In these places, the research has to be what we call it mission research. Mission research, it has to be tied to local needs, and it has to be implementable in local need. So
tailored according to the needs of this specific region.
Exactly, exactly. So, for example, if we do research on maybe some activities going on the moon and all that, it's not going to really benefit the society. It's good research, but it's not going to benefit the society. It would be better if we do research to eliminate maybe the black cloud that we usually get in the fall. That would be a better research. If you look at countries, for example, like India and Korea, I was in India in 1980-81, and we met with, I think it was Minister of Industry at that time. And he said that the strategic thinking of that nation is to go into the information engineering. That was the name at that time for information technology, called information technology. So we have seen India, we have seen how poor is India, we have seen the economic problem of India. So at that time we had really our doubt that this would happen. Now, after that, because it was a strategic thinking from that nation, what we found is that all their IITs, which is elite colleges, focused on this field. They send their students to the United States for this field. The company poured money into infrastructure for that field, and look at them right now. They are number 4 in software development in the world. They reached that. Korea, the same thing. They said, we're going to go with only consumer electronics. That's what they started. Said, we're not going to do anything, only consumer electronics. And even with that, they focus on displays. At that time, LCD, and also it was in the 80s, by the way, the LCD and the plasma was in the early stages of that. Said, well, we'll focus on that. And we are going to distinguish ourselves from the rest of the world in this field.
Creating a niche market.
Niche market, exactly in this field. So they poured their effort and resources into that. And right now, probably 90% of all displays anywhere in the world is coming from Korea.
Yes.
Sony, even if you buy it from Japan, United States, it's very likely it's coming from Korea. Then they already build the infrastructure of consumer electronics on that. And then they went into cellular phone, and then after that, even right now in car. But they did mission research, which research tied specifically to a need and get them a niche in the market. And that's what we need here. What I see when I visit places, university or research institute here, it seems that they do everything from the needle to the rocket. And I think that is a model that we should avoid. I think it's very difficult to come up with benefit from that. The other problem that associated with this is that in developing nation, they have technology transfer. Technology transfer, it's an organization normally in universities and all that tie researchers to the industry, because researchers themselves cannot really promote their research to the industry. So these guys, economists, lawyers, and even scientists, will be able to take the technology from researcher and market to the industry. In Egypt, I couldn't see that model. We rely on the researcher themselves to go to the industry and sell their product, and they're not good at that. No researcher is good at that. So there's no technology transfer. There is a lot of good research going on here, but it ends up to be on the shelf, or people forget about it, write paper about it, and that's it. But there is no organization that will take that research and market into product.
Finally, Dr. Muhammad, is there any some sort of dream project that you would like to see taking place, becoming real here in Egypt?
Yeah, 2 dream projects. Reform education and reform research. No country with a strong economy, no country, and name any country that you know of that has a strong economy and doesn't have a strong education system and a strong research. These are the 2 reasons for any strong economy. And of course, you know that the borders will be open. Tariffs will be removed with the new World Trade Organization and all that. It is coming. It's coming. So for us here to compete in this environment and prosper, we need from now to develop a new education modality that produce people that can be globally competitive. We need to do research in order for us to improve our product. So when the border will be open, our product will be at the same quality as the product we import.
I see.